Hello, everyone. Dan here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for Shogun Episode 9 Crimson Sky. Uh, if you've been paying attention, you understand that Crimson Sky is the name of the secret operation that Toranaga has for getting out of trouble, really, as I'll call it. So, let me give you a quick synopsis. We'll go over the cast and then we'll talk about this issue. There will be spoilers for the episode, so if you haven't seen it, make sure to go check it out before you check out this video. In this episode, Mariko arrives at Osaka for the fight of her life. Blackthorn and Yabushige scramble to save their own heads as their options dwindle. This show stars Hiroyuki Sanada as Yoshi Toranaga, Cosmo Jarvis as John Blackthorn, and Sawai as Toto Mariko, who is definitely the MVP of the episode, if not maybe the whole season. We'll see how that plays out. We also have Moeka Hoshi as Uzami Fuji, Fumi Nakaido as Lady Ochiban Okada, uh, Tan- Taranobu Asano as Kashigi Yabushige, who's one of my favorite characters. Like he's just it's such a great performance. Really, really like it feels like he's the character that's having the most fun. We also have Takehiro Ira as Lord Ishido Kazunari, who's kind of our main antagonist along with Lady Ochiba. So I'm gonna get into spoilers. If you haven't seen the episode, go back and check it out. It is probably the best one of the season, and I really thought that the last one was the best one of the season. So these just keep getting better and better as the season builds on. So in this episode, we get to see a little bit of Mariko's origin as she was kind of found by the church. We get to understand where her religious beliefs come from, especially in a life that she, in the type of life that she had growing up in the nobility, how she came to be part and a devout person in the church. We also see that John and Yabushige and company, including Mariko, are finally sailing to Osaka. uh, we realize that now the church is also aware of the arrival of John. And in that scene, we have this really cool tracking shot that it's following the priest and I guess is the cardinal, whatever he might be. They're kind of walking around, going up the stairs. They end up in this balcony, and the shot just kind of dissolves into like this aerial drone shot that looks really, really cool. I don't know how you do that type of transition, but it looked amazing. I thought it was just such a well played out and a planned out scene. That's just the caliber of the quality of the show. It is incredible. We also get to see that Yabushige and John have a meeting with Ishido once they get to Osaka. But after Ishido turns down Yabushige's offer of not only he would work for him, but also he would come in with John and be part of his, I guess, part of his crew now, as you want to call it. After they're turned down, Mariko then enters for a discussion, and it looks like this was really Toranaga's play, right? Because of Mariko's nobility. Um, she is put in a very difficult position where she has strict orders from Lord Toranaga that she must leave next day with his family. But Ishido has all these noble families in his castle as hostages. Like they can't really, they're told that they can freely move around, leave and whatever the case may be. But there's actually a lot of rules, and that kind of comes into play. So um, we have probably one of the coolest conversations. Just like it feels like a duel of words, and let me tell you, Mariko is a skilled fighter when it comes to words, we've seen throughout the show. We also see that Mariko has a son. I didn't. I don't even know if they never mentioned that or if I was just not aware that she has a son. But we do get to meet him. They have a really interesting conversation as well. The son seems to be a lot more devout to the church and a little bit more oblivious as to everything that's going on outside of the castle. So he's very sharp and very rough with the conversation with Marco. Um, we get to see now in the next day as everyone comes out to see what's going to happen with Mariko and as she leaves. with Toranaga's family. And they, as they try to leave, of course, the guards stop them because everyone that leaves should have a pass or a permit, whatever they want to call it. And Mariko delivers one of the coolest lines that I've ever heard in anything. And she just says, "You leave me no choice. Please kill him," as she tells one of her guards to remove the guard that's stopping them, right? So this is when the fight breaks out. After failing to, which we have, it turns into a really cool fight, not only with the guards, but then also Mariko herself. And then everyone just kind of watching, all the other lords and the noble families watching what's happening. This was really Toranaga's plan, to have the blindfold removed from the nobility, to understand that Ishido actually has everyone there as a hostage. Really, really, like, just beautifully executed. So after failing to leave, Mariko proclaims that because she has failed to follow her orders from Lord Toranaga, she will take her life at sunset. And this is the real play, because then the regents have no other choice but to meet with Lady Ochiba, and Lady Ochiba makes it clear that this was always Mariko's play. This is her revenge coming back. Um, John is also requested to meet by the kid, the heir, who and Mark was there to translate. But this was just really kind of a ruse by Lady Ochiba to talk to Mariko. Really, she didn't even want to talk to John. She just needed an excuse to bring Mariko, right? Because she's still a translator. So they have a really, once again, great conversation. We get to learn a lot about their relationship, especially when they were children, and how that evolved or devolved into where we are now. Mariko also takes confession. It seems that the priest, there are two priests that we've seen run around. One of them is a younger one. He doesn't seem to be as bad as the other ones. And this is the one. He's the one that is kind of friends with Mariko. He met her. We saw him in the flashback. He's the one that kind of brought her into the religion. So uh, in earlier in the when Mariko proclaimed that she would end her life, uh, Lord Kiawa was asked to be her second, because if you are of Catholic or Christian faith, you know that suicide is a mortal sin. So you need, if you have a second to take your life, obviously I guess that's kind of a loophole. So to prevent your soul from eternal damnation. I don't know if that's all. I don't know if that all works out in the logic, but that's kind of how it's presented in the show. That's kind of their belief. So, uh, but he doesn't show up. He doesn't show up, and just as Mariko is about to take her life, John is there. He'll be her second to save her soul. Ishido shows up with a permit, and she says, "Fine, you can leave." And this is what kind of triggered. This is exactly the plan, right? This triggers others to ask that they also want to leave the castle. Uh, Yabushige unfortunately seems like he's up to no good. He seems like he has taken a deal because he killed some guards and then some. I mean, they're kind of dressed like ninjas, so I don't know exactly if they were ninjas or just whatever, like infiltrated outfits for a samurai. But they come in and their mission is to kill Mariko. They're driving into this like little storage and they blow up the door, and we just see Mariko blow up with the door. Uh, wow, what a way! If there's just no way that she survived that explosion, and what a way to leave. For Anna Sawai, what a way to leave this series. Fantastic stuff. I've seen some interviews of her and her time on the show, and boy, it is fantastic. It's just such a well put together show. And I can't wait to see. I think next week should be the season finale. So stay tuned. We'll definitely be covering it. But I'm telling you now, Shogun is going to be my favorite show of the year, and it's going to take something really, really strong to knock it off. I've been enjoying Fallout. I think that's really cool. That's really fun. I really enjoyed the first episode of The Sympathizer, which is like back to prestige television for HBO. But man, this show is quality. So if you've seen this episode of Shogun, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. As always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone.